Every single child or adolescent who is truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm.
It's just not worth the risk having a higher voice or a smoother body all for what? To have a sexless life.
Hey everyone, we are in New York City. I'm sitting here with Shapeshifter, a D-trans male, and we're gonna react to some TikToks.
Can someone please explain to me why I'm getting videos of detransitioners all over my For You page now? Like, where are y'all coming from? And it's always like ex-trans mask individuals who are coming out about being like detransitioning. Oh my god, I'm just so surprised that I have male pattern baldness. I thought I wouldn't get it even though my brother has it, and my dad has it, and my uncle has it. Like, please. Like, I'm glad you're happy, but be fucking for real.
I mean, Kansas just stopped picking on Casey Miller.
But where did y'all come from? Like he asked.
I don't know. It was just like, we just all had download from the universe, I guess, and started detransitioning. We got this like collective upload.
I mean, it's so insensitive that he's offended that you exist. People like you exist.
Yeah,
what's that all about?
Yeah, we need to validate their existence every day almost. Yeah, for sure. I mean, every week, he's right though, because every week there's new detransitioners, and I think people just realizing that maybe transition didn't help them as much as they thought it would. And that's why we have this huge wave of detransitioners, and some of them have health issues that push them into detransition. Yeah. And some of them are transgenders as well. We're not going to name certain people. Some people, you know, identify as certain things because it's a trend.
And he can't even show his face. It's like he's on his bed, casually dissing D-trans people. It's very immature, don't you think?
Yeah. Casey has been through a lot, and she's gotten so much hate. I don't know even what to say about this. I feel really bad. She never was unhappy with her look. She just said that she was considering detransitioning, and it's hard once you've gone so far with testosterone. She never said she wanted a certain look when she started testosterone.
It's not like I have a problem with people detransitioning. The problem that I have is the misinformation that is spread by the people who are detransitioning. The way that so many people who detransition spin it as though transitioning ruined their lives somehow, as if somebody forced them to transition.
What do you think about that?
Well, it has ruined lives. People are missing body parts. People will never be able to have children. I'm missing body part. We will never get back our original bodies, and a lot of times we were kind of we did sign off on certain things, but we do have kids detransitioners. They were trans kids, so their parents kind of also thought that if they don't allow their kids to transition, they'll commit suicide. So in a way, that is kind of manipulation into transition. Because I also was convinced that if I don't transition, I'm at high risk for suicide, you know, and I was made to believe that it will better my life and my mental health, and it didn't. I think it's spreading misinformation, saying that puberty blockers are safe.
And when he's saying that you guys are saying, well, someone forced us to transition, that's not what you guys mean. It's like the trans doctors are lying to you. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, they're not telling us all the probabilities of things going wrong, even the whole like side effects of testosterone. Every year they're adding like new things to the consent list. Yeah. So it's like people who started testosterone a few years ago should have been already aware of all the side effects that are just coming out now. And same with puberty blockers. FDA just issued new warnings about puberty blockers. What about the kids that started already a few years ago? I think this is just a tip of iceberg what we're seeing with detransitioners, and once the kids have been blocked earlier come out as detrans, that will be really actually sad. And yeah,
blaming hormones and surgeries and all of these things on why you were in such an unhappy place. But the elephant in the room, what really matters is you were never actually trans.
So what do you think about that?
Nobody can define anymore what woman is, what is trans woman. Like, we lost all definition, nothing means anymore. Please tell me what is true trans, and can we use those definitions to start gatekeeping? Because I hate seeing detransitioners suffer.
But they also say like, oh, you were never trans, so I don't care about you. I only care about trans people. And now you're leaving our community, it means that you were never a part of our community, so you.
Yeah, they expanded umbrella too big, and now anybody can fall under that umbrella. And it would have not been a problem if it was just about fashion and makeup, but it's actual medical procedures that could be dangerous.
Irreversible.
Yeah, irreversible too. So.
Yeah. And this is the guy who gave birth twice. I just want to say a trans man giving birth twice.
God.
I don't know if it's relevant, but I just want to say because I remember his TikToks.
Good for him.
But we don't need a thesis and a mini docuseries as to why you decided to detransition. Just go about your life.
I mean, trans people always had docu-series. Ever since the beginnings, it's been promoted all over social media, on mainstream media. So we should just like chuck away our experiences.
Right.
We're literally exposing ourselves so other people can learn from it and make better decisions. Some of us are not saying nobody should ever transition. We just don't want it pushed on kids. And we're trying to warn other people that it's not all sunshine and rainbows like media has been portraying it. You don't just go off into the sunset. It may or may not happen. So
Yeah, I think this is cult-like behavior. Oh, you were never a part of our cult. I don't care about you. Don't spread your ideology. Don't spread your lies about our community. And don't ever speak on anything. That's very cult-like, I would say.
Because you know damn well that you telling your story is the fuel that people use to invalidate us as trans people. Please stop.
well, we need some kind of fuel. No, unfortunately, nobody's supporting us except for the right-wing media, some base transsexuals, and people who just have compassion. And unfortunately, we do have supporters that are like very religious, but we need some kind of support. Like these people have been through hell, literally. Some of us have a lot of medical trauma due to medical transition. We need support. They just want us to go away, but they just can no longer ignore us because numbers of detransitioners are growing because there were no safeguards, no gatekeeping, and this is the result. This is what you get. If anybody can be trans, this is what you get.
Yeah, and you're only responsible for what you say. So, okay, some transphobic people, they would use your story and say, well, no one should transition. So what? You're telling your story.
As if the left is not using the whole trans issues. A lot of those are just cis people. They don't really care. They just want to use trans people for woke points. Like, hello.
Exactly.
There's governors that are advocating for puberty blockers that never had trans experience, that never had trans kids in their family. They're just doing it because that's just a bundle that comes with like left. And it's time it got unbundled.
So this is Marcy Bowers, who's a trans surgeon. Like she's a trans woman doing trans surgeries.
Yeah. President of WPAS.
Oh yeah, that's true. And this is a clip from What is a
The
Woman?
youngest patient I've done vaginoplasty on is age 16.
Do you worry that minors just don't understand enough about themselves? They're not neurologically developed enough yet to make permanent life-altering decisions?
Absolutely not.
Is she okay?
Is she okay?
It takes time to discover who you are. Like, I had my surgery at 24. I had vaginoplasty and had so many complications and completely regret it. Like, how the hell somebody who's almost 16 so early in their timeline can make such a lifelong decision when they haven't even existed or dated, haven't discovered their body? And I'm assuming that person was blocked from puberty. I don't even know what orgasm is. Marcy Bowers already put out a statement that the boys that have been blocked out, they never had a drop of testosterone in their bodies, so they'll never know what it's like to have orgasm.
The second was an observation that I had that every single child who was or adolescent who is truly blocked at Tanner stage 2 has never experienced orgasm.
And probably will never know.
Yeah, they probably will never know unless they detransition by taking testosterone. And we already know Jazz Jennings. I mean, that person is struggling. Like, Jazz is really struggling from what I can see.
Yeah, and Marcy Bowers operated on
Jazz.
Surgery. Yeah.
And also a friend of mine as well.
I mean, 16.
They
can't even legally drink in the United States, but they can consent to a vaginoplasty. I think it's abuse, honestly.
Abuse, and it should not be promoted this way.
Yeah, what do you think the age limit should be when it comes to like bottom surgery only?
I think 25. There's some data showing that your brain is not fully developed, especially in biological males. It takes longer for a brain to develop. Like, again, I had it at 24. I thought I knew everything, what I wanted, and I wasn't really even conscious till I was like late 20s, early 30s. It should be 25 for genital surgeries, and there's really no data showing that genital surgeries improve mental health in the long run. So there's really a big question mark over genital surgeries in general. And hormones should not be allowed under 18. Or sacrificing your health for aesthetics. That's where I'm at. What's the point if you're gonna look beautiful if you can't have sex?
Right. Yeah, and you Yeah, you
It's
can
like
mess
makes
your
no
body up
sense.
without knowing
And
because
it's
you're too young.
yeah, it's like it's just not worth the risk having a higher voice or a smoother body all for what? To have a sexless life.
Yeah, rather the person is fully developed and then they can do, there's a lot of things you can do. We live in a modern society, so why not do it when you're fully developed? Because
That's
there's
not
no going back if you never go through your own natal puberty.
yeah, serious ends. You'll be having micro penis. You don't have as much tissue to work with either, so that have to harvest from other parts of your body, which just opens up more problems.
These ideological doctors at these children's hospitals, they'll tell the parents, you have two choices. You could have a dead kid or a trans kid. This is brutal. There's no one reason anyone ever kills themselves, but they're using that as an argument. You know, suicide's complicated, and we should never be weaponizing it like that. If an anorexic is suicidal, we don't say, okay, sweetie, yes, you're fat, let's do some liposuction. We treat the underlying conditions that are leading this person towards suicidal ideation. But this is the one condition in the whole world where we let a child self-diagnose themselves as being the opposite sex and just go along with whatever they want. What's the point of these endocrinologists going to school for 8 years? To become a specialist doctor when they just listen to a 10-year-old that walks into their office?
That's a Billboard craze. He's pretty popular Twitter personality. Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, this is the only healthcare where people get to decide for themselves how far they want to take their transition. And the minute I decided I wanted vaginoplasty, like there was nothing to protect me from that decision or pushback. So that's very dangerous. Because again, kids want a lot of different things, and a lot of times now being part of the transitional community, we do have a lot of underlying issues that have not been addressed, and in a way, sometimes medical transition works as a placebo for a while, but those mental health issues keep on resurfacing, and eventually people have to deal with it. And at this point, any child that comes with gender issues has to have like a deep psychological evaluation before given any kind of medical treatments, even young adults.
Yeah,
So, like,
for real.
They should really be checked for childhood trauma, for borderline, for all those things. But unfortunately, right now, the narrative is like all those things are separate from being trans, you know? And oftentimes, people lose years not working on those issues because they keep on putting all the efforts and resources into medical transition to look a certain way to pass, versus working on their mental issues and becoming like maybe better, you know? And also, again, suicidal ideations, a lot of us have it, unless you've had like specific incidences where you attempted it and there's record of it. You can't tell that like, oh, it saved your life, you know? So we should really redefine what suicidality is to better treat like patients with gender dysphoria.
Yeah, and Casey Miller, speaking of her, she got top surgery a month after being suicidal. Like, that was, that was in the papers.
Yes.
So I can't believe they're doing that to young people.
It was the same with me. I was very suicidal after going on estrogen, and I thought like, oh, I was in the wrong body, so I need to transition all the way to feel better. And unfortunately, it's not always the case that it helps.
Right.
So we have to be very careful because you can't get back your body parts once you lost it. You can't just go shopping for body parts.
No, not at all. Do you think that like they overlook all the other mental health issues, the therapists and doctors?
Absolutely, because I've seen online when people say, oh, therapists push back a little bit, people tell them to go get another therapist because the therapist is transphobic. So like, therapists cannot even try to help those people without being labeled transphobic or being accused of practicing conversion therapy.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
It's really scary. This is actually like an emergency. Like we need as a society to get this together before more people get hurt.
Now, right now.
Yeah, even if you care for trans people, from what I've understood by now, I don't think bottom surgery solves a lot of issues, even trans people. So people should be notified of this to take care with their body modification surgery.
Yeah, and also many trans people don't get bottom surgery because they know it's not worth the risk. And also with puberty blockers and hormones to teenagers and kids, it's like, well, yeah, you stand there as a trans adult, maybe a celebrity. I think of Laverne Cox. And you haven't gone through that. So why are you advocating for it? Like, do you even know the risks?
Right. They never had a trans kid experience. They've never been blocked. I think 80% of trans people, they're never planning to get bottom surgery. And some of them don't even take hormones, but they're carrying the labels. They've changed their paperwork. They fight to make sure this is available to anybody who wants it as easily as possible. And that's completely insane and dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, we need to do something about it right now.
Yes, like it's actually an emergency. All the Western countries need to get it together on the trans issues. anybody, politics, religion should not be involved in this. Just examine data that we have. If you really care about trans people, analyze the data that we have.
Yeah, and care about people in general. It's not only trans people, because what is that? But just anyone with mental health issues. And I'm sorry, but it is a mental health issue if you feel like you're trapped in the wrong body.
It definitely is.
And no matter if that's the case or not, like if you're dealing with something else, we should care and do something about it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Where can people find you?
I'm on YouTube, Shape Space Shifter, and on Twitter, Shifter of Shape. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.